Keyword Cruz here, your life applications officer. This is going to be a quick one. We control animals based on our need for their food that they can supply us with, and their ability to supply power, um, to supply fabric. There's different things that we use animals for, but those animals would love to run wild in their own habitat, and the idea of safety in their own habitat. They would love to have enough food, and they would love to be in a place where they can constantly have sex like humans do, and procreate and build up their habitat, build a nation within their habitat. Okay? But part of that is the fact that animals killing other animals is part of them being animals. Okay? Now, when we have a dog or a cat, that dog wants to be outside in his own habitat. Sure, he doesn't mind falling in love with humans, but he wants to be out there in his own habitat where he can lay down with a female dog anytime he wants to. He wants to be out there running in the wild and being out there enjoying his life without the use of dependency on humanity, or should I say humans. Okay? And if you don't feed a dog and don't pet a dog and don't take care of that dog will run right back out there into his own habitat. He will go back out there and find himself like you never ever had him as a pet. Same thing with a cat. Same thing with any animal that you have in your home. That animal will even go as far as to go out there and become wild, and a lot of times, most of the time, go back to being fearful of humans. Not because he's being abused by going back out there in his own habitat, but because he is being himself, a dog. Okay? We as humans, we always want to talk about that our rights are being violated and that we're not receiving, whatever we do is just human. It's just human rights. Everything is human rights. But yet we don't care about our animals and their rights because we need them to be pets. It might be better for them to be in their own habitat instead of ours. Okay? Or should I say their own environment instead of ours. Okay? Animals want something more than what, sure, they enjoy our love and our support, and they enjoy the cleanliness of our homes, although they really don't even notice the difference between their filthiness being all over our home, okay, because they weren't created by God to be concerned about that. We're concerned about those things. We're concerned about, whose hair is floating around in our food when we eat it. Animals don't care. Okay? Animals don't care about a lot of things that humans care about because they're animals. Okay? And there are other species, some physical that we don't really focus on, and spiritual that we don't focus on. Those are entities too, and they have their own habitat. Okay? Their own environment, their own dimension even. Okay? Their level of being unhuman. Okay? But we as humans, we're the only ones that are never happy with being human. We always want to add to the human race more and more and more and more, and that alone is called sin. When a man and a woman laying down together, and when a man and a woman laying down together is not enough, you need more. One man, one wife, not enough. You need more. That's humanism. The sex that a man and a woman are having is not enough. You need to throw another party in there. You need to try same sex. Okay? Or you need to try other people of a different sex. Just more people involved. It's never enough. And this is the difference between the Christian world and the secular world. Christians have learned to become content with the human stature that we are in, the human environment that we are in. Whereas people that are not in respect of the Christian ideology, if you want to call it that, they feel that whatever we keep coming up with, whatever we add to the human race, whether it be sexuality or drugs or whether it be different forms of medicine and science or whatever it be, we call it all humanism. Humanism is separate, really, from a lot of science, because science is what it is. It's science is what it is, if it's real science. And it was never intended for science to modify our human bodies in a way that would poison us to be a people that we never were before. A people that we were never expected to be. But humanism is supposed to be all about the desire to be human. Well, God, in the beginning, his desire was all about the desire for humans to be human. But somehow today we got that confused with everything else that attacks the human race. Our drugs, our medicines, a lot of times that we take to heal diseases, the things that cause diseases in the first place. Most of it's our fault. Okay, if even science said that. Most of it's our fault. God is not to blame for the destruction of the human race. We are. Okay? So it's natural to expect from the animals or expect to use them, because just like animals eating other animals, us eating animals, okay, and using animals for different things is part of the human race. And everybody sacrifices. We sacrifice every day as humans by dying of natural causes. We sacrifice of dying by other causes. Okay? We sacrifice for each other, even to our own death. Okay? But we are only human. Okay? But we try to be more, and we try to, do so many different things. And when somebody says, well, I don't know if that's right or not, or there should be laws about that, then we want to cry humanism. We want to say, well, I'm a humanist. I believe that all humans should have. Well, how do you know what all humans should have? Just like you fail to know what all animals should have. You really want to love animals, you wouldn't have them as pets. They belong out there in the wild. Now I gotta admit, the math to that would be, too many animals out there running in the wild. Too much. It would be a mess. So we had to step outside of our. We had to go into somebody else's habitat and restore order for the safety of our own habitat and the safety of theirs. I appreciate what biologists do when they study animals and heal animals and then send them back out to their habitat. Or they go into their habitat and restore order by supposedly healing animals of their diseases and sicknesses. But that doesn't mean that they weren't in their right habitat because they had disease and sickness. They in your house getting diseases and sicknesses that they don't even get in their habitat. Okay? So, humanism wants to worship the human mind and body and spirit. And they have this idea, these people that are humanists have this idea that humanism moves on and it increases. And really, there's nowhere for it to go. It is what it is. God created us and designed us a certain way to live. For example, when Adam and Eve were in the garden, he gave them instructions. There's nobody here but them. You don't have to believe the story if you want to, but even if it was a fairy tale, it has a lot to say about your humanism and how you screwed it up. Okay? When Adam and Eve were in the garden, God had laws and commands for them. They failed those laws and commands, and this is why we have problems today within the human habitat. Because Adam and Eve disrespected those laws that were given to them. God could give laws to humanity because he created humanity. God didn't come in there uninvitedly and say, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. He knew they had to do this and do that if they were to survive. Why? Because they were on this planet. But today we look at that as Christian bigotry. We look at that as ignorance, when actually it is the math, it is the science, it is the very math and the very science of human living, the Bible, and what God said about us as humans is what real human living is and what it is worth. God said it, and He said it for us, and we spit on it every day and kick it every day, thinking that God, if He really does exist, is against humanity, and He's not. But some things don't belong in humanity. God did not design our bodies or our minds or our spirits for certain things. He didn't design our mind, our bodies, and our spirits to have just any old kind of sex. He didn't design our body, our minds, and our spirits to just have any old kind of politics. You know, He didn't design us for us to recreate ourselves. Okay? If you were born a certain way, your best bet is to learn how to be that thing that you were born in. Whatever kind of body that you were born in, there's nothing wrong, and it's very human, to go and learn what a man is, what a woman is. Learn from the other women that are happy with their lives, what a woman is. Learn from the other men that are humble about it and understand that they are only men, what a man is. And where he's supposed to be. But see, God in that garden gave men and women roles that today we destroy. Like the man being the head, it's not a matter of pride and arrogance and disrespect for the woman. It's 100% human. It is survival that the man be in charge, for our survival. For the survival of the human race, men are to be in charge. That wasn't bigotry in the Garden of Eden. That wasn't bigotry at the beginning of the earth. That was for our own benefit and safety and survival, that the man be in charge, that the women be the weaker sex, and the men have the responsibility to protect the women and the children. It is our survival to abstain from certain forms of sex and certain forms of eating and certain forms of, physical as well as spiritual activity. But we as humans, we come up with these ideas from these planets that don't exist. And we wonder why we have problems. And then we want to blame God and say that He's not respectful of the human race, that Christians aren't respectful of the human race. They're using the Bible to attack our human rights. We're using the Bible to bring us back to human survival. Okay? And every day of our lives, we disrespect other animals and other people's survival. But yet we ourselves, as arrogant, sinful humans, want to point our finger at God or point our finger at the God that supposedly doesn't exist and say that it's His fault for ruining us, and the belief that these people that follow Him have, it's their fault that we are in such a mess, that we're not happy, that we're having wars and we're having sickness and disease and calamities and you name it. But I'm encouraging you today to understand that God is greater than your humanity because he created it. You don't have to believe that. All you got to do is look around you. Okay? All you got to do is look around you. Okay? And pay attention. And let what you see be what is really there instead of trying to make a philosophy about what you see. It is what it is. Homosexuals aren't the happiest people on the planet. People cheating and on their wives and husbands aren't the happiest people on the planet. Okay? Democrats ain't the happiest people on the planet. Atheists are not the happiest people on the planet. I'm the happiest person on the planet. Look at his happy face. I'm the happiest person on the planet. God bless you, D. Roy Cruz, your Life Applications Officer. Thank you for watching.